At precisely 7 a.m., my sun-blasted windshield filled my cramped garage with a blinding rush of hard gold. My coffee had grown cold, I was late, and my temper was on thin ice, slimmer than the HOA's rulebook. All I had to do was back out, get on the road, and arrive at a client meeting without the universe compromising another thing. But of course, on schedule, there it sat. Lisa's silver Mercedes, smugly parked across my driveway like a disgruntled bouncer. I honked twice, then once again for emphasis. Nothing. Not even a blink from her sparkling, colonial-style residence. For the sixth time this month, I was blocked into my own garage because Lisa had a spin class to attend that took precedence over simple neighborly decorum. Now, it wasn't just inconvenient, it was personal. Last week, her little trick cost me a client who didn't appreciate unprofessional delays. And the worst of it? Lisa knew. I'd caught the smirk, the smug little lean of her head when I spoke to her last. Her voice all syrupy with fake innocence. Oh, relax, it's just a minute. A minute which inevitably became an hour. That's when I lost it. If nobody else was going to stop this, I would. And I'd make it a lesson she'd never learn. My neighborhood looks picture perfect, mailboxes aligned, lawns trimmed with military precision, smiles exchanged like currency. But behind that curated charm was an iron-fisted HOA in Lisa. Lisa was its self-anointed queen, pixie cut sharp enough to slice tension, always in designer athleisure, strutting around like she owned the zip code. You'd think that someone jumping between Pilates and Pinterest-perfect porch checks wouldn't be able to find time to ruin lives. But Lisa made it her goal. The first time she blocked my driveway, I cut her some slack. Perhaps a garage full of stuff, perhaps a delivery. By the fourth occurrence, the mask slipped off. This was no coincidence. I attempted politeness, rang her doorbell, politely requested. She grunted, said she'd keep it in mind, and then hours later, I received an HOA notice in my mailbox, complaining about my blue garage door as a breach of the neutral color scheme. The other half of the street had the same color, yet some way or another, mine was the problem. Things snowballed quickly. On her book club nights, my driveway was usurped by her Mercedes, while her guest SUVs took over the curb. She left one day just room enough for me to nearly get out, and I nearly wrecked trying. Security cam? A farce of mistakes. Me, seething at the wheel, with her car as the culprit. I went to her again after having blown an all-important Zoom meeting. Not screaming, simply inquiring. She rolled her eyes and replied, "Perhaps you could organize your day according to my schedule. I have beret at 9. That's when it registered. This wasn't inconvenience. This was control. She did it because she could, because no one had ever made her answer to anyone. I attempted the official path, emailed the HOA president, Greg, spineless, promised he'd look into it. Days went by. Lisa blocked me again. I filed a complaint and received a response, not from Greg, but from Lisa, on official HOA letterhead, rejecting my complaint based on lack of evidence. Oh, and a fine for an unauthorized porch light. Lisa wasn't stretching the rules. She was the rules. So I began to speak to the neighbors. Mrs. Thompson, lovely retired school teacher, informed me Lisa had attempted to have her vintage Mustang towed because it was too red. Another neighbor was fined for a birdhouse, found too whimsical. Lisa was waging a stealth war on individuality, disguised as HOA authority, and no one had resisted, until now. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table in front of a map of my driveway and a pile of violation notices. My friend Jake, a contractor who owed me a favor, dropped by with some equipment. I complained. He laughed and said, "Too bad you can't just wall her car in." And then it came to me. Not vandalism, not revenge. A statement. I upgraded my cameras, wide angle, high def, time-stamped, logged each event, each time she parked there, each passive-aggressive interaction, even overheard her boasting that she had a deal with the HOA. By week 3, I had a folder that was rock solid, photos, video, audio, emails. The type of dossier that causes lawyers to drool. Court wasn't the idea, though. I had something in mind that was better. I bought cinder blocks, instructed the supplier it was for a shed, stored them behind a tarp, and waited. 4 days passed before jackpot. Just as I was driving to the hardware store, Lisa arrived, tank top incinerating, green smoothie clutched, and parked dead center on my driveway. She gave a direct stare into the camera and waved. I let her prance off to her HOA meeting, then phoned Jake. 20 minutes passed and he rolled up in concrete mix, fencing panels, and a wheelbarrow. We moved efficiently, blocks behind her bumper and then blocks in front. Not scratching, not touching, just blocking. Jake joked that it was like we were bearing a pharaoh. At the end of it, her Mercedes resembled a modern art installation, cage privilege in gray. We placed a sign, private property, no trespassing, you were warned. I took time-stamped shots, geotagged them, sent everything to myself and my lawyer buddy, and we waited. 2 hours passed. Lisa returned. Her assured power walk devolved into a stumble. She stopped at the realization of her Benz being boxed in, then lunged for the driver's side as if the blocks would disappear. I stepped out, phone recording. You parked on my property, again, I said. After several warnings, I claimed my space. She went ballistic, ranted of lawsuits and vandalism. I explained calmly to her the footage, the logs, the emails. You want to call the police? I asked. Or should I? Neighbors began congregating, on their phones. Someone produced popcorn. Lisa attempted to get them riled up with HOA jargon, but no one moved. Her dynasty was breaking. The police came, lights flashing. Lisa stormed ahead of them, spewing accusations like confetti. I produced my file. One of the officers whistled. Sounds like you've got yourself a case. He spoke to Lisa. Ma'am, if he didn't touch your vehicle and you were given a warning, this is a matter for civil courts. We can't do anything. Her jaw smacked onto the pavement. The second they went, the road became party-like. Lawn chairs came out. There were beers brought. A neighbor took a post in the group chat captioned, Lisa's Last Stand. It caught fire. By midnight, Reddit had memes. Her car photoshopped into castles, fish tanks, a museum display. The following morning, her Mercedes remained like a monument to privilege. She remained indoors. Curtains closed. Her husband, quiet fellow, visited, requested to de-escalate. I agreed to take away the blocks if Lisa signed a contract stating never to park there again and to rescind her fake fines. He agreed, but never did. Later that day, there was an emergency HOA meeting. Somebody tipped off their attorney about my video. Neighborhood wake-up came next. People filled the room, faces I had not seen in years. Lisa sat white-knuckled, holding on to her papers like a lifeline. I laid it all out. No theatrics. Just facts. When I was done, the room went quiet. Then there was the applause. Lisa rose, shaking, and left behind her papers. That night, the board suspended her. 2 days later, they concluded the audit. She'd siphoned thousands in fake invoices. $2,500 for landscaping that never happened. $1,800 for phantom security patrols. Her name was on every signature. The board voted unanimously to remove her. And just like that, Lisa, the HOA's queen bee, was dethroned by a driveway and a few cinder blocks.